Welcome back to RetroCult. Tonight we're going to take a look at a little bit of a haul we pulled in today. Mostly pocketbooks with one magazine. And first off, we're going to start with The Batman Returns. It is by Craig Shaw Gardner. It's published in 1992, and back in 1989, Craig Shaw Gardner also did the novelization for that Batman movie as well. One of my favorite things is the 1989 Batman audiobook that is read by Roddy McDowall. I know I listened to that when I was young, and I still listen to it now. One thing I noticed when I picked this up was this bookmark that was inside of the book. And when I pulled that out to take a look, I noticed that it was a cutout of Catwoman and Batman, something that you might see inside of here. And the second thing that I noticed was the original Walmart receipt for this book, which I thought was kind of unique as well. Coming in at number 2 tonight is one of the V novels, Prisoners and Pawns, written by Howard Weinstein. This is number 6, I believe. There are 16 in total. This was published in 1985. Quick synopsis of this: the resistance in LA, they have to return some prisoners to their region while also getting a weapons shipment that they stole from Lydia. And if you look back, and you might remember Lydia, she was played by June Chadwick on the TV series. Coming in number 3 is Star Trek World Without End by Joe Haldeman. Or Haldeman. I'll go Haldeman. Published in 1979. Kirk is going to beam down with some of the crew to an unknown planet. They get trapped. And as they're awaiting interrogation in prison, Spock is in charge on the Enterprise. And Enterprise becomes entangled by these tentacles that wrap around it and start draining it of its power. As I was shopping around today, I did find quite a large stack of Star Trek novels, and I picked most of them up because of the immaculate shape they all seem to be in. And you match that with the unbelievable price that I got most of these for, it was almost a no-brainer to pick these up. So coming in here at number 4, I believe, is the Star Trek novel The Klingon Gambit by Robert E. Vardaman. This was published in 1981. In this story, it has Kirk and the crew facing off against the Klingon ship Terror. And the Terror seems to have a very unique effect on the crew of the Enterprise. Man, did I look into this one for certain. This is the Star Trek The Pandora Principle by Carolyn Close. It was published in 1990, and this story is the origin story for Saavik, who is half Vulcan and half Romulan. Now, I'm sure all the Trekkies out there know that this person was played on screen by 2 different actresses, Kirstie Alley and Robin Curtis. You'll have to let the RetroCult know who was your favorite and why down in the comments. Coming in number 6, we have Star Trek Double Double by Michael John Friedman. This was published in 1989. And this one does have a connection to the Mirror Universe, because in this book, Captain Kirk is going to face off against an android double of himself. Up next, we have The Starless World. Again, I picked this up mostly because I thought the cover was very unique and the book was in fantastic shape. Turns out this is about Kirk and crew investigating Klingon activity, only to get sucked into a planet where they have to face off against the Strangers. I will give you a moment to skip ahead a few moments if you don't want to hear the spoiler parts of this book. The Strangers attack the villages each night, and they are people that have their souls taken by Anab, and one of the people that are doing the attacking of the village is Uhura's father. Next up, we have Star Trek Pawns and Symbols by Majlis Larson. This was published in 1985. In this book, the Klingons are facing a famine, and an earthquake hits and puts an agricultural scientist into a type of memory loss. And she gets caught up in the crisis with the Klingons, and of course, Kirk and crew must save her and avoid the crisis with the Klingons. I was so excited when I found out what this was about because I wanted it to be about this. Star Trek Bloodthirst by J.M. Dillard, published in 1987. I saw the title and I was like, man, I kind of hope this is about vampires. Turns out, kind of is. As the crew of the Enterprise are investigating an emergency call, they find these lab researchers completely drained of blood, and the lone survivor is a doctor who appears to have some kind of vampiric disease. Going way down in condition, but way up in interest for me is the Avengers Origin of the Vision. I know that this cover seems to have seen better days, but when you take a look on the inside, it is one of my favorite types of pocketbooks. It is a comic book reprint, one of my absolute favorite things to pick up. So I'm looking forward to reading this and all of the different stories that are inside. Next up, one of the most surprising finds of the day is this High Camp Superheroes by Jerry Siegel, who I heard referred to as Clark's dad, and I found that pretty hilarious. I'm not too sure what this is going to be like. It seems like it's going to almost be like Mad Magazine-like, and making fun of superheroes with names like Flyman and the Henpecked Web, but we'll have to find out. I will have to say this is one of the most unique comics that I've seen. Is you have to read them like this, which I thought was very unique. Every page is printed like that. Looking forward to reading that. Last find of the day is a Famous Monsters magazine, number 142, their 20th anniversary issue. Inside there's articles, obviously, on Star Wars. They have some on Dracula, Frankenstein, Godzilla, and many, many more. Fantastic magazine. Always love finding a good monster magazine when I am out and about.